Yesterday I started the tear down on this corral fence here, and as you can see, we got most of it done. There is still a little bit left. I've got a couple posts here that I couldn't quite pull out of the ground by hand, and then I've got the little gate down there that needs to come down as well. I think I'm gonna need a grinder or something to cut those bolts off because I don't think they're coming off with a wrench. The next step after tear down is completely done is to come through here and drill the holes for the new posts and get them concreted into the ground. Unfortunately, I can't do that quite yet. I'm gonna wait until the cattle are down in the back pasture and don't have access to this area, because if I get all these posts concreted into the ground, I need to basically sit out here with them to make sure that the cows don't push them over before the concrete has a chance to set. So rather than spend the night out here in the corral, I think I'm just gonna wait 2 more days until the cows are down in the backfield and I don't have to worry about them. But in the meantime, it is a good chance to get the post hole digger hooked up to the tractor. And once we've got it hooked up, I've got another little job that I want to try to do that I think the cows are really going to like. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. That's been in there a while. So we're down to this post here where the old gate hung. It's actually still fairly solid. Of all the posts in this line, this is probably the best one still. So it is gonna have to come out with the tractor. Hopefully it can do it. We've got another round post here that is a little bit loose, but still too solid for me to pull out by hand. So we'll get that with the loader. I'm fairly confident it can do it. And then the last post that needs to come out is this 6x6 square post here. But this is not gonna come out today because I will still need it to latch this gate. This is what the gate latches to. But the new fence line will not end here. This post is actually in a weird spot. I'm not sure how it ended up there, but really it should be about a foot this way. Maybe even a little more than a foot, but it should be about right there to stay in line with this fence, and then we'll figure out how far this way, you know, to stay in line with the new fence. So I've actually got enough room to drill the post hole and concrete the new post in, and it's not going to interfere with anything that's already here. So that's what we're going to do. What will happen though is the new post will be out here and the gate won't latch, and honestly that's probably why this is here, because using a pre-made gate, Grandpa was sort of limited with what he had. But I'm thinking that that's an easy problem for me to solve, and I'll probably end up putting a custom gate here because I want something a little bit heavier. There was a time in the past, I remember, when we were loading bulls, and one bull decided he didn't want to go home, and he came back this way and tried to jump the gate that was here. Obviously it wasn't this one, but he just totally smashed it because these are made out of pretty light metal. So what I would like here is a gate that's a bit taller and then one that has a solid wall on it, so that it creates a real sort of intimidating visual and they don't think that they can plow through it or jump over it. And now that brings me to the other little thing that I wanted to try to do today, and also to answer a question that I get quite often, and that is, why do you have this random post in the middle of your corral? The deal with this post is there actually used to be 2 of them, and then there were boards going across the 2 posts, and Grandpa used to hang a fly bag from that board, and when the cattle would walk in to get a drink of water, they'd walk under the fly bag, and what that is, it's like a burlap bag with some holes in it, and as they walk under, it puts fly dust on their back, which kills the flies, and that's how Grandpa dealt with flies back in the day. Over the years, the other post here rotted off and fell over, and I took it out of here, gosh, I don't even remember when. It's been a while. And the only reason that I haven't taken this one down is because you can see the cattle rub on this, and you know, it's a good place for them to scratch, where I don't mind if they mess this up or whatever they can do to it. Doesn't bother me. I'd rather have them rub on this than like on a fence somewhere. And today we're going to take this to the next level. My plan is to come in here with either a chainsaw or a reciprocating saw and shave these corners. And I think I'll actually need to like narrow this up a little bit. I believe this is an old railroad tie, and that would explain why it is so old. I mean, this has been here as long as I can remember, and it's a little bit loose, but I wouldn't say it's like really rotten. I need to trim this down a little bit so that I can fit one of these street sweeper brushes on this thing. And my hope is to be able to just slip the brush right over this, and then the cattle will have something really nice that they can rub on and scratch on and kind of help shed out that winter coat. Not only are the cattle gonna really like this, I think, I mean, they might be afraid of it at first, but I think eventually they will like it. Hopefully it takes a little bit of the pressure off of them rubbing on the barbed wire, on the fences, and stretching wires, and you know, all that stuff that we don't want them to do. So it's going to take a little bit of doing to get the brush to fit on this because it's so big, but I feel like I'd rather do that than yank this out of the ground, go put a new post here. I mean, I think this has still got life in it, so we're going to get every little bit of it that we can. I very much wish I was doing this with a chainsaw, but I'm out of gas at the house. I really don't want to run to town just to get gas for the chainsaw, so we're going to try it with the recip saw. I feel like this is not going to work, but you know what? We're going to try it. Well, I stand corrected. I didn't think the recip saw would do it, but pretty much that's what I was trying to do. It's not pretty, but that street sweeper roll is gonna fit over top of this, and then hopefully this little shelf down here will kind of keep it up off the ground. I think the post is solid enough, you know, I mean, they will be pushing on it a lot, so we'll find out, but yeah, the little saw is all that could. It took 3 batteries, but it got it done. Now let's go see if I can figure out how to lift one of those brushes up. They are deceptively heavy, and it's definitely going to take a tractor to get it up that high to slip it over that post, but we're going to keep messing with it till we get it. Turn around. Yeah, I decided there's no sense in carrying this chain all the way over there. I can carry the brush most of the way with the spear, and then when I need to stand it up to set it on the post, then we'll need the chain. The blue one looks slightly bigger around, so I want to put it in the big corral, and if it ends up that the cattle really like rubbing on these, then I'll probably put the red one in the little corral or maybe just in the bullpen. But I feel like we're gonna use the blue one as sort of an experiment to see if they even like it. I feel like they're either not gonna care or they're gonna absolutely love this thing and rub on it all the time. I thought that maybe I could like get it up on there, start it and tip it up with the loader. And I think with a modern loader, I would be able to do that, but this one does not have enough dump in it to make that work. So we'll go back to plan A. Care about it. I can't believe it. By the time I got this thing up on the post, most of the cows had already gone out into the pasture, so a lot of them haven't really seen it yet, but a couple of them did walk by, and all they really did was like give it a sniff and they kept on going. I was very disappointed. I thought that they would start rubbing on this thing immediately, and I still think that they will like it. I just think they haven't quite figured out what it's for, or you know, what they can do with it. This reminds me of a blue Christmas tree. I'm not really sure why. And real quick, even though this is not what this video is about or what we're even really talking about right now, all the cows just walked through the cow sprayer. I just want to show you guys all the dead flies on the ground. Look at them all. Holy smokes. That is amazing. Seeing all those dead flies on the ground, that just makes me happy. I almost forgot, there was a whole other reason that I needed the tractor out here in the corral. We still got to pull these posts out of the ground, so let's get to it. Look at everyone else. What are you doing? Well, how did I know it was gonna be Riveter would be the first one to really test that thing out? And test it he did. I'm wondering how long that post is gonna last now. The way he was pushing on it, it was moving around a fair amount, but it didn't break off, so I guess it's good for now. Well, I'm glad that Riveter and mostly the calves have figured out what this brush is for, and they are enjoying it and using it. Makes me feel like the effort to put this thing up was not wasted. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.